Good morning, good morning. Back on another big boy here. Another big one. Where we at? We're in Bridgewater, New Jersey this morning. And this one honestly got me a little bit nervous right here. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you my thought process. Rain last night. We've got shade. We don't have any sunshine yet, so this has never been sealed before, and all these little dark spots are basically the moisture left over from last night with the rain. And so what this tells me is it's going to be wet the next day. So they're calling for rain. I'll show you this real quick. They're calling for rain on Wednesday. Today's Tuesday, so tomorrow basically. And you see this moss? Moss only grows where sun doesn't go. So tomorrow we're going to be basically we're going to be fighting the rain. So basically we're going to get this all clean and prepped. It's going to take a good majority of the day to get this clean and prepped up. All these cracks have to be filled. So by the time we put down the sealer this afternoon, going to be a little bit late in the afternoon, and I'm afraid I'm going to get washed out. So I'm going to go talk to the customer here. What we might end up doing today is just doing the prep work and foregoing the seal coating. In my opinion, that's the way to go. We got some big cracks to fill here. Aquaphalt. We're going to be using Aquaphalt again today. I'll show you how to do that when your finger can go down into it. It's a little bit too deep for the rubber. I'll show you the trick we use to get these big boys filled here. Similar, we got another one right here. Grand Canyon, got some vegetation going through, so I'm gonna get that filled. But yeah, just I'm a little bit nervous. We've had a couple issues before on some big ones where, the impeding rain has caused some discoloration, like basically right where the wet spots are. So, gonna go talk to the customer. Big job, big cut, beautiful landscaping. Smells good. Lavender? Is that lavender? I think so. Yeah, this is it. Big one. Got a lot of crack. I think it's like 600 feet of cracks to do. Got some alligating right here. This is basically, let's see, it's wet. Moisture's coming up from underneath as they drive over it and pushes it down. So that area needs to be ripped and removed. Going over to here to the donut. Same situation, gonna be wet tomorrow. Gonna be wet. So I'm gonna go knock on the door, talk to the customer, see what they want to do here. I will be right back. All right, the game plan has been initiated. He was in full agreement. He was a little bit worried himself. So what we're gonna do, we get everything cleaned and prepped today. We got 6,000 square feet, 6,500 square feet to clean and seal, and then crack filling. Another 600, 700 linear feet to clean on that, or fill with the rubber. Got Carlos down there doing the trimming, giving it a haircut. So yeah, basically, just doing one last final walkthrough. I try to look for problems that we're going to be potentially dealing with, of what the customer could come back and call and complain about. And so we've eliminated number one of the moisture threat. So secondly, now I'm going to kind of just eyeballing everything, seeing this is totally normal. This is edge gap. Basically, asphalt shrinks away from the structures of the harder substrate, so it's going to naturally peel away from concrete. Nothing much we can do there. We can always fill that with Aquaphalt if they request. Some do, some don't. Over here, more moisture mitigation problems. So basically, they're selling the house. They just want it to look. They're not going to be living here too much longer. So get the cracks filled. Get everything cleaned and prepped up. Other than that, I don't see much here. Good paving job. It's kind of cracking naturally where you would expect it to crack, in and out of the driveway. Right at the curve, at the curvature. This is a big one. You can. People are like, why don't you use hot mix asphalt? And listen. Blue collar business school has taught me that by the time you go get the dump truck, gas it up, diesel it up, put asphalt in the back, go get 1 ton of asphalt, come back, fill this crack or saw cut, fill it with hot asphalt, go back to the asphalt plant, drop off all the used asphalt. It's expensive, customer's not going to pay for it, and it just doesn't make sense. So we use Aquaphalt mixed in with the combination of with the hot rubberized crackfill, and that kind of creates like a mastic. There is a mastic material that you can use, don't get me wrong. Sealmaster sells it, but you need a big kettle. It's basically it's basically what I'm doing. It's rubberized. There's a bunch of cementous materials in there, all sorts of different products, but basically it's a chunky, thick, viscous material, and you apply it over the top. It's used for like municipalities to fill these large cracks. Again, you need the equipment to do that, so I'll show you what I do. I prefer the Aquaphalt and the hot rubber method for the big boys like that, but those tend to happen right as the right as the joint meets the other pavement going into the bigger part of the driveway, so that's natural. Other than that, nice paving job, and yeah, gonna be doing it probably on Thursday, for, I don't know, they're calling for rain all this week here, so just gonna get this chopped up in whatever format. What's happening here? I'll try to talk over the weed whacker real quick. Moisture's again coming up from underneath the asphalt, and it's creating what's known as alligatoring. It looks like the back of an alligator. You can never really fix this. Sealer is never gonna really glue this back together. The only way to fix this is to chop it out, square it up, and put in new asphalt. Customer didn't want to opt for that. I'll edit through this. So yeah, do a quick walkthrough, look for any major problems. Again, moss is the #1 issue for sealer delaminating. Anywhere there's moss, the sealer's never going to cure. You need sunshine, you need UV light for the sealer to cure. So even after, on a sunny day, this area is not going to get sun. So you got to be really diligent about expectations, initial walkthroughs. When we initial bid this, we got to make sure we notate that. So we're going to call back and say, hey, your sealer's peeling. What's going on? I thought you guys were the best. And I'm going to say we are. But I can't help the sunshine, people. Can't help the sunshine. All right, let's get this done.